An English professional mixed martial artist is Patrick Pimblett. In the UFC, he fights in the lightweight division at the moment. Pimblett has been a professional since 2012 and was the Cage Warriors featherweight champion. On September 4, 2021 at UFC Fight Night 191, Pimblett made his promotional debut against Luigi Vendramini. The fight was won by knockout in the first round by Pimblett. He received a bonus for Performance of the Night for this fight. Want to know about it in detail? Well, stay tuned till the end. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video we will talk about Khamzat Chimaev leaked footage and Paddy Pimblett speaks on UFC 282 Conor McGregor Jorge Masvidal. Meanwhile, subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon. That being done, let's start. In October 2021, Pimblett agreed to a sponsorship deal with Barstool Sports worth $1 million. Pimblett faced Rodrigo Vargas at UFC Fight Night 204 on March 19, 2022. He won the fight by submission in the first round. With this victory, he won the Performance of the Night award for the second time in a row. Paddy would later reveal that he spent $12,000 on the show and won $12,000. On July 23, 2022, Pimblett will confront Jordan Levitt at UFC Battle Night, Aspinall vs. Blades. He used a rear naked choke to win the fight in the second round. He won the Exhibition of the Night grant for this triumph. As Paddy Pimblett and Khamzat Chimaev continue to make a name for themselves in the UFC, Chimaev is adjusting to his growing fame. Pimblett and Jared Gordon are scheduled to fight at UFC 282 on December 10, 2022. In an interview with UFC Arabia in October 2021, Chimaev was questioned regarding the opponent his teammate Guram Kutateladze might face following his debut victory over Mateusz Gamrot at UFC Fight Night 54. Chimaev responded by saying, "Who is this new guy with the baby hair, and what is his name? I don't know his name. I hope they fight together. If Guram wants to fight with him, it will be a great fight." The Swede was prompted by the interviewer's mention of Paddy Pimblett, but Chimaev struggled to pronounce it repeatedly, as the tweet below demonstrates. Pimblett maintained his impressive lightweight form by defeating Jordan Levitt on Saturday at the UFC London. Chimaev is getting ready for the fight that will be his biggest yet in the interim. He will fight Nate Diaz in September at UFC 279, in a highly anticipated fight that will be Diaz's last fight under his UFC contract. Since entering the octagon, Borges' record has improved to 5-0, which incorporates a hard-battle triumph over Gilbert Consums in his last battle. Paddy Pimblett hit back at Chimaev after he won his first UFC fight last year, claiming that the UFC community was already talking more about him than the Swede. At the end of last year, Pimblett said in an interview with Uncaged MMA that despite having more fights in the UFC, Chimaev isn't talked about as much as he should be. "Lad, that is an absurd question. Everyone knows it's me because I fought once. Everyone talks about me. Chimaev has 4-5. Fellow, it's not similar to anything." Chimaev holds the number 3 in the welterweight division, despite the pair's continued dominance of their weight classes. If he defeats Diaz in September, he might be able to fight Kamaru Usman for the title. Pimblett is a rising lightweight star who has won 3 fights in a row, but the Englishman still has a long way to go. Kevin Holland had first-hand experience observing Khamzat Chimaev's talent after the video of him completely ragdolling Paddy the Baddy in wrestling practice was released. The chaos of UFC 279 is now a distant memory as 2022 draws to a close. The evening of the pre-battle question and answer session, Borges and Holland got into a battle behind the stage, bringing about Holland, 30, losing for the 8th time in his profession. Chimaev was originally scheduled to fight Nate Diaz in the main event, 2 fights before Holland faced Daniel Rodriguez. On the other hand, on weigh-in day, Chimaev fell 7.5 pounds short of the 170-pound welterweight limit. Because Holland and Chimaev were roughly the same weight, the shocking scale count necessitated a 180-pound catchweight tilt in the final 3 fights of UFC 279. Chimaev needed slightly more than 2 minutes to end Holland with a Bravo choke after imposing his will with his thus far unstoppable wrestling game. Due to the severity of his weight loss, many people aren't sure which division Chimaev should play in moving forward despite his impressive performance against Holland. CBS Sports heard Holland say, "Timing is everything. The man fights the right opponents at the right times. It's possible that Colby is too young for me to discuss the issue. However, the situation might be different if Colby is able to advance to rounds 3, 4, and 5. I think the fight between Chimaev and Kamaru Usman would be the best. However, Usman may be different from Leon Edwards. My opinion is that anything is possible, depending on the opponent middleweight. If he is fighting particular men, things might not be as straightforward. I think the champ is a very good fight for him right now. Is it true or not that he genuinely deserved battling for the title of 185? No, more so at 170 pounds? Yes. He lost weight in his previous fight, so it's possible that to get there, he needs to win another one. The child is free to do as he pleases. To tell you the truth, I also think he has a lot of potential. With a matchup as dangerous as Chimaev, Holland's willingness to accept the short-notice changeup is likely rewarded handsomely. Trailblazer even took a break shortly after making a mistake. Like most MMA retirements, Holland will fight Stephen Thompson in the main event at the UFC Orlando on Saturday night. The former Contender Series star ended up using some of it in a business plan. "Sometimes you just gotta play a little bit with the water," Holland said of his brief retirement. "In addition, I believe I was briefly experimenting with the water at the time, checking to see if some of the things said would actually come to pass or what would happen if I decided to go that way. I also tried the water and played the route, which was great on both sides. Outside the cage it was fantastic, and returning to the cage is equally fantastic. As a result, only a water test." Khamzat Chimaev has established himself as a household name in the MMA industry ever since he made his debut in the UFC in 2021. In addition, the Lone Wolf has always made it abundantly clear that he wants to compete with the very best. Borz recently stated that he wants to fight Alex Pereira and Colby Covington. However, Anthony Smith, a former UFC contender for the light heavyweight title, asserts that Chimaev would encounter difficulties in their potential matchup. On the most recent episode of Michael Bisping's Believe You Me podcast, Anthony Smith talked about the possibility of a fight between Chimaev and Covington. He suggested that Borz's match with Alex Pereira, the new champion, would be easier than Borz's match with Chaos. Chimaev has developed into a formidable rival ever since he made his debut in the UFC. So far, he has only fought Gilbert Burns, a well-known welterweight. Burns was also able to wreak havoc on Borz, making it hard for the latter to win. Despite the fact that Khamzat Chimaev has demonstrated that he is one of the best fighters in the welterweight division at the moment, he must fight a top contender in order to compete for the title. Having said that, it will be interesting to watch Chimaev's title fight. Dolidze is determined to establish himself in the UFC. Chimaev's call-out reflects the same reason he didn't hesitate to fight Hermanson on Saturday. "I'm just here to fight big names," Dolidze declared. "I am aware that there is a similar game here. You won't be noticed if you fight people you don't know. If you compete with names, you'll continue to climb. I'm also here for that reason. They denied my request. And, with all due respect, I had no idea who he was or what he had done. Of course I'm prepared," I recently stated. "Just ask him if he's ready." So what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. And that's all for today, guys. If you found this video interesting, make sure to hit the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update from us. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with your family and with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you at the next one. Until then, peace.